bam. How are we? How are we today? How is the weather? Welcome to Tea Time Conversations with Nasu. If you're joining us for the first time, my name is Nafisa Ibrahim-Abbas. I create content in Kaduna, and this is one segment of my vlog. It is the segment where we have deep, serious and important conversations that concern us, our families, our friends, our loved ones, our community, the society at large over tea. And our topic today is going to be intentional living. I am talking about intentional living today. So, how many of us have actually sat down to design our lives, to be very intentional about our lives, to sit down and say, this is my life, this is how I want my life to be. Intentional living is quite a new concept to us in this part of the world, because we have always lived our lives based on fate, based on anything can happen, based on your destiny is not in your hands. Not until recently, when researches based on philosophies, lives, and even our faith have actually highlighted the fact that you can be intentional about the kind of life you live. You have that mechanism to actually navigate your life to the way you want it to be. So that is basically what intentional living is about. Intentional living consists of deliberate choices we make in order to live a life of purpose that is aligned with our values, with our faith, and generally how we want our lives to turn out. Before, like right from when you're in school, when you're growing up, most times you just do things anyhow. And the thing right now is the world has actually moved. The world has moved in such a way that things have changed. Life as we know it is no longer, you can't just leave everything to chance. You can't leave everything to fate. You have to actually breathe things into existence, walk the talk, you understand? Make sure that you are in line with your goals. It's no longer business as usual. Even as an adult, not just for children, even as an adult, you can make mistakes while growing up, but once you understand who you are, when you grow up and you understand that this is life, this is what life has for you, can actually change. You can start all over. There is nothing wrong in starting all over. If you're learning about intentional living today, you can actually start over. No matter how old you are, no matter how young you are, no matter the failures you've gone through in life, you sit down and say, this life I'm living is not the life I want to live. This is not what I want. Okay, what do you want? You sit down. You write down what you want to do. You write down what you want to achieve. And then you start baby steps, one step at a time. You take one thing every day, give yourself a time frame, give yourself a timeline, and work towards achieving it. One thing we don't task ourselves is putting timelines in our goals. Yeah, you don't need to pressure yourself by saying at the end of this month or at the end of this year or by this time around I should be able to get this. No, but every goal should come with a timeline. You cannot just say I want to achieve so and you leave it like that. No, you're not being intentional about it. You're being intentional about it. You write down your goal, you write down your timelines, and you write down how you intend to achieve it. And one thing about intentional living is you don't set yourself up with unrealistic goals. You set goals that are realistic and you work towards them. Understanding your purpose and what you want to do in life is the first step towards achieving intentional living. Like, What do I want to do? What is my purpose? I have just been going up and down in this life. I've just been trying to do this, it's not working. I've been trying to do this, it's not working. You sit down and say, what is it that I actually want to do? What is it actually that I can do? Every person, everybody is born with some sort of gift. Just that a lot of us do not realize our gifts. We don't know what we are here to do in this world. And for a lot of people, it could take days, months, years. It could take you a long time before you actually get to realize your own unique gift. But everyone has a unique gift that he or she is born with. So tasking yourself to actually realize this gift, this special gifts that you have in you, is the first step towards intentional living. You should set goals that are realistic, that are attainable, and that are in line with what you can do and what you want to do. Number two, you should establish a daily routine. Routines are very important. You cannot just be someone that will wake up and see what the day has for you. Yes, sometimes you can decide to be spontaneous. You just live your day. Let's see what today has to offer and all that. Yes, we know that, but it can't be every day. It can't be something that is controlling your life, or it can't be the way you run your life. It's just like having a job. A job is a routine. If you have a 9 to 5 job, it's a routine. You know that you wake up. If it's a 9 to 5 job, morning shift, you know that you wake up on Mondays to Fridays or Mondays to Sundays, depending on the time you go to work. This is your routine. If you work night shift, you know that maybe your shift starts from 5, ends by 7 the next day, or your shift starts by 8 and ends at a certain time the next day. That is a routine. If you're a stay-at-home mom, you know that you have your routines. You wake up, you do this, you do that. You're a homemaker. You know, for everything you do in life, you should have a time frame. You should have a routine. Routine helps us stay organized. Routines help us stay focused, and routines kind of give us a clear routines give us a clear view of how our day is going to be. And the third one is, if you're going to be intentional about your life, you need to strengthen your relationships. Relationships are very important. Relationships are about the most important things we have in our lives. It can be family relationships, it can be romantic relationships, it can be our friendships, just platonic relationships. Like, every relationship in your life matters. Every relationship you are having in your life should matter. If a relationship does not matter in your life, it has no space in your life. Strengthen your relationships. Know how important they are. Know the relationships that are good for you. Know the relationships that are bad for you. And know relationships that you know you have to completely get over. You cannot be someone living an intentional life and then be in a toxic relationship. No, it doesn't work, because it will hold you back. It will stunt your growth. If you're in a toxic relationship, whether it's a family toxic relationship or a romantic relationship or even a friendship, if you're in a relationship that is toxic for you, it will hold you back. It will stunt your growth. It will not take you anywhere. So know your relationships, strengthen your relationships. Know the relationships that are good for you. Know the relationships that you need to cut completely. Not the ones that you need to set clear boundaries for. Like, every relationship should be clear and precise to someone wanting to live an intentional life. And the fourth one is, keep a journal. Journaling is very important too. For a start, journaling can be very therapeutic. I used to keep diaries when I was young. It was a thing then. We had diaries like for every year. I think when I turned 21, I packed most of my diaries I had and burnt it. I think I had kept diaries right from when I was in junior secondary. Diaries were very important to me. I write out my feelings. I journal what I want to do. I journal a lot of things, life events, friendships, so many things. Journaling is very important. It's therapeutic, and it also gives you a clear. It gives you a clear mind when you don't have to talk to, when you have things in your mind. Writing them down, creating a journal for it helps you. And apart from journaling your life, you journal your timelines, you journal your visions. Like your journal can be like your vision board as well. You can write it down. This is what I want to achieve by this time. This is just like setting goals, but this one is actually right, not the goals but the vision, like writing how you intend to do that and writing down your journey. I mean, writing out the journey of how you achieved something, of how something went in your life. But by journaling, write it down, you read it. When you have mistakes, you can see through your journals and correct them, and so on. Journaling is very important for someone who wants to keep an intentional living. And also, journaling helps you also celebrate your achievements because you write them down. You don't forget. No matter how small you have achieved something, you write it down. When you come to read it out, it helps you celebrate. You read down, you'll be happy. Oh, I did this at a particular time. It's actually very nice. It's actually very good. Oh, so I can actually do this. You don't forget it. You see it, write it, you celebrate it, because if you're living an intentional life, you have to learn to celebrate your small wins, celebrate your failures. You learn from them, celebrate your small wins, and also learn from them. The fifth one is making deliberate spending choices. Our financial life is very important. If you're intentional about your life, you cannot spend money anyhow, especially money that you don't have. And money is always scarce. Money is always scarce. You cannot spend money anyhow, no matter how much you have, no matter how much you're earning. Like they say, you're earning. I mean, like they say, more money, more problems. Yeah, more money, more problems. So you have to be clear and deliberate about your spending. I am a reckless spender. I used to be a reckless spender, but when I started being very intentional in my life, I always, before I go out, before I go to the market, before I go for shopping or shopping mall or anything, I write out what I want to go and do. And I make sure I stay by that list. Writing out lists when you're going to the market or the mall or anywhere helps you. You should be deliberate about how you spend your money and how you walk through with your finances. Another one is wasting time. Do not waste time on unproductive things. There are so many things that people waste time on right now, especially with internet life. Social media is everywhere. We have so many platforms that we just go on and start reading gossips. When you start with one gossip, you enter another blog, it has another gossip. You enter another blog, it has another gossip. I mean, idle talk, gossip. Before you know it, you've spent 6, 7, 10 hours reading, seeing, discussing something that has totally no relation with your life. And while you're doing that, you're leaving out some very productive things that you would have even achieved. But idle talk, idle gossip, and you might actually think you're doing something because it's everywhere. Your fear of missing out, FOMO, fear of missing out on G's, fear of missing out on what's happening. You think that these gossips are very important. They are not. They are only wasting your time. And also, another way of wasting unproductive time has to do with attending events, functions, weddings that are totally unrelated to your life goals, that are totally unrelated to what you want to do. Your friend will just call you, hey, I have a wedding, come and escort me, bah, because you think you have clothes. Or some people go out of their way to even beg for ashobi. You go and beg for ashobi because you want to attend one wedding you feel is going to be genge. You will spend money, you will spend resources, you will waste your time. You go for a wedding that nobody knows you there. The bride doesn't know you, not the parents, not the groom. Maybe you just escorted somebody. and you spend the whole day snapping pictures, doing selfie posting on your phones, and it has no relation whatsoever to your life. That is one way of completely wasting your time and wasting your life on unproductive things. Another one is taking your health seriously. Your health can be your physical health, your mental health, your emotional well-being. It encompasses all of this. Taking your health serious is very, very important. Knowing what you eat, keeping healthy. If you have some medical issues, checking up with the doctors. Even if you don't have, checking up with the doctors, like taking your routine examinations yearly, taking your medical examinations, going up to check on your health generally is very, very important. Whatever it is that would affect your health, when caught early, would at least be manageable. And when you talk about mental health, your mental health is very important. Being in a space that actually affects your mental health, or doing things that actually affect your mental health should not be on your list. If you're doing something that is affecting your mental health, you need to stop. If you're going somewhere that affects your mental health, you need to stop. If you're in a relationship that affects your mental health, you need to cut it out. You need to stop it. There are friendships that affect our mental health. There are relationships that affect our mental health. We need to draw the lines. We need to put boundaries. Anything that is affecting your mental health should not be in your life. If a friend is stressing you, affecting your mental health, always pulling you down, always showing you that you're not enough, you need to let that person go. If you're in an abusive relationship, if you're with someone that doesn't see your value, doesn't show you affection, doesn't treat you like a human being, always weighs you down, all of these things, you need to remove yourself from that relationship. You need to remove yourself from that relationship. It is not worth it, because these things build up. You might think it doesn't affect your mental health, but as they go gradually, they're building up. They're building up. And before you know it, you've lost your mind. You might think this is small, but it's the small things that actually build up to become a very serious thing in your life. So anything that is affecting your mental health, whether it's your health, whether it's your mental health, your physical health, or your emotional health, please, you need to drop it. You need to go. If you want to live an intentional life, again, staying away from negativity. I need to take tea before I discuss this one. Do you realize that there are people that are constantly negative in life? Like anything they do, any discussion you have with them, they are negative. The energy around them is negative. Their gist is negative. Whatever they want to talk about is negative. Please stay away from these people. Please stay away from them. You don't need negativity in your life. See, even the news channel, sorry, do you realize that sometimes when you ingest news, it affects your mood for the whole day? When this Gaza-Israeli war started, I took it upon myself to learn something about it. Like, okay, this is something that has so many sides to it. People have different angles of why that war was there, why there has always been war in the Middle East and all that. And I decided to do some little research on my own. I started to watch documentaries. I started to read books. Knowledge is power and all that, and I believe in that. But when it became too much, I was literally dreaming about what I was reading about documentaries, because I started becoming very emotional. I was not ingesting it well. I was dreaming about what I was seeing, about what I was reading. It was affecting me, like the genocide, the killing, the everything. I had to tell myself, look, stop. You need to stop. I went on my timelines, on my status. I muted every person that was posting Gaza-Israeli war for that time, because it was affecting my mood. It was affecting my thinking. I would go through the whole day thinking about this genocide, and it wasn't just good. And I stopped. So sometimes news outlets, when you ingest in you, the people you see them, when you discuss with people, when you go out to listen to, or when you on and listen to, affects your mood. So please stay away from negativity. Not that, yeah, sometimes some negative things are part of our lives and we need to accept that, but it shouldn't be too much. When something is too much, let it go. Know where to draw the line. This is what I want to know. This is what I want to hear about this. And please, this is where it stops. It shouldn't affect your life. Then set clear boundaries. I've spoken about this even in our relationships, but I'll talk about it again. Please learn to set boundaries. Learn to set clear boundaries of what you want to do and what you don't want. What you don't want, and let it be clear. I used to be this person. Just leave people. Okay, it's okay. Whether I want to do something or I don't want to do something, I'll just go out of my way and do it and all that. And I realized that it's affecting me poorly. Setting boundaries is very important in your life. Some people might not be happy with the boundaries you set, but eventually it's going to be good for you because people will not take advantage of you. People will know where to start and stop with you. See, when you create boundaries in your life, at first people will say you're this, you're that, but later people will know how to engage with you, how to have their dealings with you. They say this person doesn't like this, and they will stop. It's lack of creating boundaries that will make people abuse privileges in relationships, in friendships. When you bring them in your life, they abuse the privileges you bring. But when you set boundaries from the beginning of it all, when you set boundaries, people will know how to deal with you. Setting boundaries in all spheres of your life should be very important. Not just in your workplace. When you don't want things to happen to your workplace, set your boundaries. And when you do that, people will know how to deal with you. Like, they would make sure that they stay within your limit. It actually works well in the end. Then finally, focus on yourself. Be a little selfish. You know that it's not good to be selfish. People always say, don't be selfish, but when you want to live an intentional life, be selfish, a little selfish. Just let it not be too much. Just take that selfish thing and just put it a little. Always think of yourself. Always put yourself first. Even within your family, you should be selfish. Because you know what? When you're being a little selfish, you're actually taking care of yourself and your mental health. And people will get the best of you. People will get the best of you when you are actually being a little selfish because you are taking care of yourself. I'm not saying in anything or everything. Yes, sometimes you make sacrifices. They're good. Do it, but be a little selfish. Put yourself first. It might not be all the time, but there are times that you actually need to take that bold step and put yourself first. Please do that. When the need arises, put yourself first, especially when you find yourself in some uncompromising situations. Put yourself first. I had a boss who always told me the rule of human nature, the first rule of human nature is self-preservation. An issue happened in my office and he called me and he spoke to me. He said, never ever put yourself in a position where you will be treated badly because of somebody, not for yourself. He said, the rule of human nature first is self-preservation. Whatever you will do, preserve yourself first. Think of yourself first. Be a little selfish because it goes a long way. So that is all we have today on our topic, intentional living. So I'll leave you with this few pieces of advice. Please focus on yourself, take care of yourself, be intentional about your decisions, make choices that affects your life positively, and stay away from toxic relationships, from toxic friendships, and just be intentional about whatever it is you want to do. Thank you so much for joining us today on Tea Time Conversations with Nasu, and I hope you would listen, you will enjoy this, you will share, you will like, you will subscribe, and you comment, and you will keep the conversation going. Thank you so much. I'll see you next time on this segment of my vlog. Bye.